What's up, fuckers?
Hey.
How the hell are you guys?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. A little warm these days outside.
I'm just gonna be truthful. I'm fucking disappointed with certain someone, and I'm gonna make it known. Put it on fucking record. Our dungeon master Scott failed us. Might have been for the last time.
Ooh.
Dun, dun, dun.
That's right. Yeah, you coward.
We went from dungeon master to dungeon.
I'm gonna explain to the audience that this coward.
Hey, Yeg, back up just a little bit.
This coward decided to sleep in instead of doing D&D, which was his fucking idea to begin with.
Just for context, Yeg's a couple drinks in, and Scott totally bailed
So
on
I'm honest
D&D.
as fuck.
Yeah. Tell us how you really feel.
Well, you have to have. I feel like you have to have a certain level of drinks in your system to come up with the D&D mood.
That's fair.
To grease the fucking
I try to
wheel.
be straightforward a lot, but with drinks, it gets there faster.
No, I definitely feel like I need a couple beers to get in that nerd mindset.
Yeah.
And to
Or
be able
else
to
you're just too fucking I don't know, realistic about it. What are we fucking talking about?
You know what? I was excited because at work, I mentioned another priest, and he's like, I can make it happen. And that is true story. He was like,
is that why you're so upset? I had hopes for another priest and fucking...
I was promised a priest and another asshole. A clean fucking asshole. During that time...
Take it down a little bit.
It's really hard to find a clean asshole during that time.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I imagine, back in the day, there were too many clean assholes.
Can somebody get this shit off my dick?
My God.
I'm back.
When is that supposed to be like?
It's been a while.
It's a fictional place and time, but we're comparing it to the 1600s, 1400s?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
We put in where the bathrooms were barely a thing.
Where guns are
toilet
super
paper was definitely not a
but
thing.
There's the existence of gunpowder and shit like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, back then people didn't have a lot of access to showers and soap, probably.
Yeah, that actually wasn't until the mid 20th century that showers were a normal thing.
Showers were more like once a year kind of thing. And I am actually pretty accurate on that one. I
wonder why the population fucking spiked around that time.
Hey, nobody was doing oral back in those days.
London during the darkest time when the Grim Reaper was Jack the Ripper was operating. It was disgusting. It was really, really bad.
Population spiked due to the invention of fucking clothesline clippers.
a lot of people didn't even live past 30. Me and Dave would be dead. Actually, you Spence too.
That'd be long dead.
That can't be. He's 27 and I'm 29.
I'd still have at least 3 more years.
You for sure would be dead.
The death was around the corner.
You couldn't run away from a predator. You'd be like, oh, my knee.
We're recording this episode. Dave's birthday coming out next Friday. We're going to be recording. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to let us do a whole podcast in a bar.
Maybe.
They could. Depends on the bar.
There will be footage.
That's a scary thought.
It will be released on Dave's Instagram channel, so please like and subscribe. I'm fucking selling this shit.
So let's get to the topic at hand. Immigrating to the U.S. So Yeg, obviously this one is more centered around you because you're Nazi.
American.
A Nazi.
I'm an American. I am an American. I only have one passport. They cannot be tracked down to anywhere else unless I want them to, because I actually changed my name too, just in case. True story.
So, man, I have a feeling like people that to migrate here as, not like
Oh.
their parents or whatever, but like, how old were you when you came here?
I was 15, probably either about to turn 15 or 15.
So you were old enough to kind of have a sense
It
of self.
was at the beginning it was hard, even though like as a kid it's a lot easier to immigrate than for an adult, because for an adult it's a lot harder to pick up a language. Like even for my mom, they took 2-3 years longer to be self-sufficient. Mm-hmm. Not without like me or my sister helping her through English, or like just because a lot of times you do need somebody to help you with everything, like even to be on the phone with the customer service, any kind of those minor inconveniences.
How long did it take you to pick up English?
3 months. Easiest language in the world.
Is it?
It was actually super easy.
They say it's the hardest.
It's definitely not the hardest. I can think of like 100 languages. English was very easy, but I
want you to list off those 100 languages.
Mandarin, Japanese. By the way, I watch anime a lot. This is a news for a lot of you. I watch anime and I watch it in the subtitles, so I listen to it a lot. So in the same way that I learned English, I kind of watch anime for that, and I listen to it nowhere near fucking close to understanding Japanese. I can hear 3-4 fucking words, and that's about it. But for English, I did use a very interesting trick that I kind of came up with on my own. And my sister did this exactly same thing. So we watch a lot of movies, a lot of TV shows in Ukraine. We watched it like at the time, Russian. Fuck them. We watched it in Russian. But then when we moved over here, we just watched the exactly same thing, exactly same movies that we watched hundreds of times. We watched them in English with subtitles on. That's why.
That's a nice trick.
That's a lot of people who come from other countries. They actually watch with subtitles. I don't know if you noticed, all my stuff is always set up with subtitles.
I do that too, but it's just because I'm deaf as fuck.
I do it
That
too.
is a good rule of thumb.
Huh?
So we watched it with subtitles. The movies, so we already knew what they were saying. Like, we watched those movies a lot of times that we knew what they were saying. And with English, we just kept reading it, see the words, and just kind of matching it.
Yeah.
And I came in like at the end of the school year, so I spent like 1 month in school, and I broke my arm for quite literally my first month in the United States. I broke my arm. I was in Ukraine, falling off the trees, fucking doing some crazy shit, and did not break a single bone in my body. Come to US, 1 month, snap my arm like a fucking twig.
How do you think that you didn't ever break a bone, or you just never got it affirmed?
We have a very good healthcare system. Not a lot of good stuff in Ukraine.
We have a good one here or a good one there?
In Ukraine, you can get sick and you can go to the doctor and don't have to leave your kidney there.
I have an alternate theory of why you didn't break bones in Ukraine, but you did here, because you're breathing much cleaner air. It's not like polluted from...
We're in fucking Utah, you know that, right? You can't use that argument.
Yeah, there's no Chernobyl in Utah, dickface.
I still have better air in Ukraine fucking than in Utah.
I believe that. Yeah.
It's statistics.
Some of the worst air in
statistics.
the country. Probably in the world.
But yeah, it was
I don't know, dude. Southern California.
Oh yeah, have you ever seen fucking pictures of like
I've never been
China? Those big cities
Oh,
in China.
did you guys
Fucking
see that
haze.
stuff like after COVID happened? Like how clean their fucking skies was. Like for the first time, people saw actual sky.
What the fuck is that? Oh, it's a bird.
They're like, there's a full
bird.
Eat it.
There's a big glowing thing in the sky. Did you guys know about this?
This is the fucking news.
Meanwhile, their army is shooting people. Go back inside.
One time.
So, I would assume like people. So my mom immigrated here when she was like 10, But she has like a sense of like proud to be an American. Like she has like she honestly feels that like sense of like how it is better here. Well, she had.
Yeah.
It is definitely, and I am kind of like compared to everybody else. When we moved, my sister for a very long time wanted to just be like, I have all my friends there. I want to move. I hate it here. That's it. That was the mindset, and which is fine. It happens to everybody. But for me, it was a lot faster. Even as a child, it didn't even work. I didn't even make a single fucking penny over here. I just 6 months learned the language, went to school, made friends, and it was just that much. It was just kind of like snowballing. You just start making a little snowball and just keep rolling. It just keeps growing. And for me, it was within probably first 2 years. I was like, I'm never going back to Ukraine. I fucking hate Ukraine at that point, and. Like, not hate, like I have all my family there and I love them, and I visited a couple of years ago. It was fantastic, had experience, but I also had to remind a lot of them that they probably will never see me again, just in case. You never know who fucking dies. Plus now, chances skyrocketed a little bit. Missiles also not adding shit to statistics.
Missiles are at an all-time high.
You have like 3 issues that you could randomly die from in Ukraine. It's like still lingering radiation,
God.
Or
there is no
crop diffusion, or missiles.
Yeah,
the missiles are number 1.
Russian missiles 1, Ukrainian kids 0.
Actually, 560 kids died, but
that's bleak.
Yeah, I was trying to make a joke. Thanks for making me feel like an asshole.
You're welcome. Yeah, you deserve that one.
So let me ask you this. When you were growing up in Ukraine, up till the point where it was like a decision to move to the U.S., did you guys have that sense of like, oh, the U.S. is better? And
here's a couple of my thoughts, which is going to be crazy because like U.S. always, like, people dream about it. It's the goal. It's the GOAT. But
true story.
We moved over here. Like, I expected U.S. to be, how to say, the California weather everywhere.
Yeah.
That's kind of like a general picture. Like, I'm not using California because you see whatever you see in movies.
You get to Utah, you're like, where the fuck are the palm trees?
Yeah. That was the kicker. Showed up to Utah. That was like the summers, Yeah, because we moved here April. April, so it is hot. It's especially 18 years ago. It was April, still hot. Then winter shows up, and then you like, the fuck is this? It's exactly the same as in fucking Ukraine.
That's what we're leaving.
Like, so in terms of weather compared to Ukraine, winters are still bad here, but the summers, that's the only thing. Summers are a little bit hotter than Ukraine. Even at the peak Ukrainian summers in Utah it gets much worse.
I love the cold, dude. I love when it's cold.
Yeah.
I don't mind it at all.
I'm a tropical Ukrainian.
Fucking few and far between, but we found one.
I'm like, there's no fucking tropical place. Okay, Crimea was, but then Russian took over. But anyway, I like hot. I don't know, like heat or you're fucking dying when you're outside. But there's this cool thing that U.S. just barely invented. It's called air conditioning. Europe is still trying to fucking learn it.
Yeah.
Trying to figure it out.
Yeah, they're still trying to figure out that concept. It's crazy.
So when I was a kid, we moved around quite a bit. Like, we lived pretty much almost in every single city in Utah or in Salt Lake, like every part of Salt Lake, Kearns, Sugar House, up north, like Layton, Kaysville, just all over the place. We moved around quite a bit. We moved to Florida. When we moved to Florida, it was such a culture shock from like being here in Utah, and like majority of people, like we were the brownest people on our block almost anywhere we went, in back in the 80s, you know. And so we were the brown people, and so like we moved to Florida, and it's probably 30% black, 30% Latino, and then 30% maybe less than 30%, maybe 20% white in the area that we lived in Orlando. So it was a huge culture shock. Everything was different, like, you know, the Latino culture down there, the Puerto Ricans, the Haitians, just totally culture shock. Like, for me, that was something that I experienced. Was there anything that you can remember, you can think of specifically that stood out as like culture shock when you moved here?
Everyone was smiling a lot here. Like people, even a lot of times it's just fake smile or fake happy, but still people a lot nicer to your face here. Mm-hmm. At least at the beginning. Like I met a lot of incredible people here, especially my first 6-7 months here. People who helped us kind of get to where we at, because there was a lot of problems when we moved here. In the beginning, like here's the story. I already kind of mentioned it to Dave earlier. So the way I moved over here is my mom got married to a Mormon. We're in Utah, by the way, and you can all just already probably all know about Mormons. They're a bit odd. It's crazy, but this guy was even crazier. He was a polygamist.
Oh.
So when we arrived, he was already married like 6-7 times. And then we moved over here, and like first 3 months started noticing weird shit. And then like started doing some of our own investigations, and I found out that this guy is like polygamist because he wrote a book on the polygamy, and church actually kicked him out because it was extreme. Mm-hmm. And that is not even the worst part. His first wife wrote the book with him together, but she uncredited herself just to stay in church. But she was also sponsoring all of his behavior, which is weird because like when my mom found out about a lot of this stuff, like she reached out to her, and like she came out to meet us and like talked to her, and like she seemed like she was a very nice lady and stuff. And they're like, oh, but then we found out later that she was actually sponsoring this whole fucking thing. And then after like 3-4 months, we were served the papers to be like, yeah, you're Russian mafia. He was trying to get us kicked out of the country. And the papers showed up to judge. I remember how stressed my mom was. Like, you know, don't speak the language. Like, just all the shit just keeps piling on top of that. We quite literally barely bring any money with us from Ukraine. It was just really hard at the beginning. So the judge looked at the papers, read the whole thing, and I really, really hope I can find those papers, because it's a goddamn story over there. Like it just batshit crazy.
So, are you or are you not Russian mafia?
No, I'm not.
Okay, thanks for clarifying.
Yeah, legally you have to tell us. It's like if you ask somebody they're a cop.
I am.
You a cop?
I am.
What was that fucking Lawrence Fishburne movie where he was like undercover, and they're like, "Are you a cop? Legally, you have to tell us if you're a cop." And he's like, "Okay, I'm a cop."
Biker boys?
No, it was like late '80s, early '90s. You know what I'm talking about?
I'm trying to think of all.
Yeah, I'm a cop. And everything goes to hell. Like, that's not how that works.
Yeah, I can't remember what movie that is.
So that what happened. That's where we pretty much left. We moved to Caseville. We went to a shelter there for like 6 months. Lived there, got on our feet, and from there on, it just kind of shows you an American way of life. If you work, you're gonna be okay. Like,
No, I mean not today, but back
no,
then.
not
yeah.
right now, but back then, yes, you worked because like my mom started at the minimum wage job, then I came of age, I joined minimum wage job, and just from there, just start climbing, like, just with the first taxes, buying the first car, and then just from there, because like in the United States without a car, it's extremely hard.
Yeah.
Especially in Utah, because everything's so spread out.
Yeah, it's like in New York, it would be a lot easier because like when I visit New York, you can see like that they have this.
Everything just piles on top of itself.
You have subway stations over there. Just there's ways to commute.
Yeah.
But in Utah, it's definitely hard. Like even talking to some of my friends in Ukraine, like, and they trying to tell them like, hey, I live here, but like I am about 35 minutes away from Salt Lake, and they're like, 35 fucking minutes? You have to drive for 35 fucking minutes to Salt Lake, or like 30 minutes? And I'm like, that's actually very light jog.
Yeah.
It's nobody even thinks about that. That's just like I'm gonna go to the bar in Salt Lake today. That's about it.
Yeah.
And I have friends who go for hiking trails. They drive 2-3 hours easily, and they're like, in Europe, 2-3 hours, you'll be in a different fucking country.
Yeah, that's one thing that I've been coming across a lot recently is like the way Europeans see American culture, and Europeans are not shy to bash Americans like at all, and they'll talk about, oh, you guys have to drive everywhere because you're lazy. Like, no, because
it's
the
how
way
big. A
it's
lot of them do
enormous.
not realize how big United States is. How each state is size of a fucking country.
Yeah,
Some
and
of
that's
them
the
are
thing,
even
is
bigger.
They talk mad shit that we're not cultured and we don't go visit other countries. Like, do you know how much of a process it is for us to go visit England?
Neighboring states.
Yeah, you could literally drive for 8, 9, 10 hours and still be in your own state, depending on where you live and where you're going.
Texas, 12 hours.
Easy. From one side to the other. 12 hours. Easy.
Yeah. We've driven from here to Florida 2-3 times. And takes about 3.5-4 days from here to drive to Florida.
I had a friend who
About
went
3.5 days.
from Utah to North Carolina. That's a fucking trip. That's like 7-8 day trip just on its own.
Yeah.
You drive from here to Los Angeles County, which is like 740 miles, something
13,
like that.
14 hours?
It's about 10 or 11, yeah, with stops.
Yeah.
And even when I would drive halfway to go pick up my boys, because they live in Missouri, and then their mom would drive, and meet me halfway, that's a 15-hour trip to go 700 plus miles one way and 700 plus back. That's a long fucking day.
Yeah.
And I saw basically Utah, Wyoming, Nebraska. I'd see 3 states.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of which, there's not a whole lot to see in any of those states.
No, once you get past like a certain point, it's like cornfields and oil rigs.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the thing that's always bothered me when Europeans talk shit about you don't visit other countries. Like, even if we want to go visit, let's say France, right? You have to get a passport, you have to drive to the airport. And for us, it's pretty easy. Like, I live in the valley, the airport's about 15 minutes away. You live in Stansbury. You got to tack on another 20-25 minutes to that. But in other places in the country, like when I lived in Missouri, the airport was a 2-hour drive, 2.5 hours away, just to get to the airport.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to board a flight that's 18,
You
20
have to
hours
show up
long.
about 2 hours early too. It's
Yeah.
it's a full day. The traveling is, I'm gonna be honest, traveling no matter where you at is a fucking chore on its own.
Yeah,
like
but
it's
at least
not
in
as
Europe, you can board a train and be in another country
Yeah.
in 2 hours.
easy. And that is a smart way to travel. I have a friend who travels like that. Shows up, uses her instead of staying in the hotel for a night to sleep. She gets night trains and sleeps there. And then you ended up in Eurotrip movie.
Dude, I would love to
Get a
take
massage,
like a train trip through Europe and just sit on the train cart and fucking take drinks and watch the countryside go by.
Yeah. Take naps whenever you want.
Yeah.
You're not like
I'm just
that.
gonna close my eyes for about an hour and we'll be in fucking Spain or something.
Yeah, you see those
Excuse
movies
me,
and
excuse
shit
me.
where it's like they have like a little room with
Yeah.
the 2 benches you're in. That's way better than being on a plane.
Yeah.
Oh, they're definitely a lot more space, a lot more comfortable. Like, yeah, train is also, but in your like they promote you to use the train to like do the whole emissions thing, like to save the
Yeah.
planet and stuff. But they also do not make it as affordable as they make it sound. Like,
Oh, I'm sure.
because there was a lot of times, especially last time I was in Europe, I was traveling and my friend's like, yeah, we'll just grab the train. And then I'm like, okay. And then I look at the tickets. At the time, when I was trying to pre-plan the whole thing, the tickets at the time were same price as an airplane except 6-7 more hours of travel. And obviously, instead of fucking...
I'll take the plane.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, fuck the planet. Like, I want to be there 6 hours early. Like, my choices were made for me. But yeah, like that's how it works. You're like, oh, you can pay exactly the same amount, just get there much longer. And I'm like, no. Like, that's what the side they need to approach is like make it convenient for people to sacrifice those 6-7 hours for a train ride. How about you make it fucking cheaper? So like at least
Yeah,
like,
half price.
yeah,
Or make something super cool on the train so it's like, I don't know, you're fucking...
And-
one of the carts is like a casino or something, and so
Yeah,
you're like...
pool tables.
Yeah.
they're like, well, at least you'll save the planet. And I'm like, I don't give a shit if this whole thing blows up the day after I fucking die. That's where I'm at right now. Like, let's play the gamble game.
That's funny. So, I'm always curious about European countries, especially like not the more, I'll say, bigger ones or more prominent ones. 'Cause-
Ukraine is the biggest European country.
Okay, let me rephrase that. As Americans who have been Americans our whole lives, we think about kind of, I know it's going to sound bad, but first world countries like England or France, places like that, right? Where we think about kind of their culture and things like that in comparison to ours. So, totally lost my train of thought. I was trying to clarify, and then I lost my question.
I'm gonna take over for a second, just while you think about your stuff. Like, I traveled in Europe. I enjoy Europe. I enjoy people in Europe. Like, it's just always been a good experience over there. Food has been hit or miss. Most of the time, it's a hit. But London's really dropped the fucking ball on that one. And Amsterdam does not have any.
You're not going to Amsterdam for the food.
You do not. You do not.
You're
Go
going
there for
there
the brownies.
Yeah, you're going for the weed and the hookers. Like,
Netherlands they do not have any of their own stuff. All of they kind of like America in terms of they just grab everything from everybody.
Well, one
But
of the
in
national
Netherlands-
dish now in England is fucking curry.
English breakfast,
Yeah.
actually. English breakfast. Is,
no, it's actually curry. English breakfast is just like their kind of go-to.
National dish.
Yeah.
Or
It was really good, and I'm just gonna say it right there. It was good. I had 2 good dishes in London, and I was there.
do you have any Indian food?
I did not have Indian food. I had Italian
I heard
food.
they have better Indian food than India.
I think there's something you got to know about
I also
Yeg.
I'm very. Oh yeah.
Yeg does
he's
not handle spice.
Yeah.
He's about to drop a fucking bomb.
Okay, so let me go ahead and give you a context. You've had Jack in the Box tacos, right?
Yeah.
This guy had one, and he was
I had
dying.
3. I had 3.
Dying.
It's not really a saving
Is it
argument,
spicy?
Yeah,
but I was.
Are they spicy?
No, not for normal people.
like I'm a bitch with spicy, but I can handle Jack in the
I
Box
don't drink
tacos.
water. It's way too spicy.
I drink
Ketchup? No way.
I drink 2 bottles of water.
Yeah, no.
True
You
story.
never see fucking Yeg drinking water until he ate those tacos tacos, and he's like, "I need some water."
I actually was out of commission for like 15 minutes.
Did you put hot sauce on it or just?
No, just the hot sauce that's in it.
Wow.
I just want to make sure that people know my line where I'm at. Like, so like when somebody suggests like, let's go to this fucking restaurant, it's like, it's not that spicy. I want you to know that when you say it's not that spicy, the fact that you use the word spicy in there, it's already too spicy. Like, that's where the line's at. Yeah.
This is spicy. What'd you put in it?
What,
Salt?
This is spicy. What's in it? Ketchup. Mustard, dude. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's a.
What about Chinese food?
I can eat Chinese food.
Just not General Tao's chicken.
I can eat General Tao's.
As long as it's from Panda.
No,
I guess like Asian. So like
I
I
am a
think
lot
Asian-
better with Asian.
Asian spice, Mexican spice, and like Indian spice are all different things.
They are.
For sure.
I do not eat any pretty much Mexican food. That's the whole thing. Shtick with it. Why I don't eat Mexican. It's not because it's not good or anything. It's more of a, like, spices
You don't like fucking burritos?
or tacos or. Yeah,
So,
I have a thing.
I agree with you. Those three spices are very different because the more Latino spice, I'm not a fan of because to me it's just pain. Like Indian spice curry is really good to me.
I think that one's the most painful.
But I love the flavor. It's so good. And then Asian spice, like I can eat wasabi straight and it doesn't bother me. But I'll watch like I've seen people over the years get that big chunk of wasabi on their sushi and they're like, and I'm like, that just cleared my sinuses. Thanks.
Yeah. I think like a lot of like Mexican food has that spice super up front and it's just like a hit of spice, and then Indian food can be some of the hottest things I've ever eaten was fucking Indian food. But it's more like rounded, kind of like there's like 30 different spices in it that kind of make
balanced.
it more round of flavor than just like fucking spice. But
They say Thai is actually the spiciest food.
oh yeah.
Where they literally have like mint leaves at the table. When it's too much, you chew on a mint leaf to cut it down.
Yeah, they
That
should
sounds
put a
miserable.
fucking revolver there so you can just blow your brains out.
Third world country, like that's.
It's too spicy! Bang! Well, we got another one. Clean up on fucking table 7.
God damn, the fucking I hope maintenance gets paid enough.
That's terrible.
No, the hottest dish I ever had was at the Bombay House up in Sugar House.
Mm-hmm.
And they have like all their curries and stuff, and then they have like mild, medium, hot, and then spicy. So I got the medium one, just thinking I don't want to get, because I know the Indian food gets spicy, and I could fucking barely even eat it. It was good, really good, but like fuck, man, it was spicy. Had to have an ice cream cone later.
One for both ends.
Yeah. When you take a dump, you're like, come on, ice cream.
But since we're speaking about food, Europe definitely like really good in terms of most of the time really good. There's certain countries that I just mentioned, Netherlands and London, England, where food was disappointing, but I still have found those gems.
Yeah.
Couple of gems, except Netherlands. I did not find any fucking gems in there.
So is there something like a food dish that you miss from Ukraine?
Absolutely, Ukrainian food is.
I'm so ready to talk shit. Let's go. I'm kidding. Go ahead.
You can talk shit once you try it. Until then, shut the fuck up. No,
You know that's never gonna happen.
Ukrainian food is really, really, really good. It's very similar to Greek in terms of like the menu I would choose. I love Greek food. That's the first time I was like, when I came here and I tried some of the Greek food, and I was like, that's very, very similar. Not the same, similar. And that's last time I went to Ukraine. I was skinny when I went, and then I spent 2 weeks over there, and I picked up 20 pounds.
Nice.
No. Problem is, when I picked up those 20 pounds, they never left me when I came back. And I used to like just lose weight fast.
Mm-hmm.
Like I eat, and in Ukraine it was just so much good food. Even fucking basic fries were on such a different level from America, and it's all because of the ingredients. It's the way it's made there and the way it's made here. In here, it's like, I swear to God, it's fucking designed to kill people.
Oh yeah.
But in
Now I'm
there,
curious to how they make fries over there. I'm gonna have to look that
it's
up.
just natural stuff. That's it. It's nothing artificial.
Probably just potatoes and fried
You
in
get
oil,
normal ingredients. It's just
but not
there.
like genetically modified potatoes in fucking all
Like
these
they were
chemicals
not
added to make
made
it.
at Chernobyl, though. I'm pretty sure.
Chernobyl potatoes.
Those,
Nuclear fries.
It's
Nuclear fries. I like that. We're gonna start a.
we're actually gonna
Dude.
trademark that shit right now.
So we were talking the other day, and I was like, we should make a fucking like hamburger joint and call it Slur Burgers, and like all the burgers are just like racial slurs and like ethnic fucking stereotypes.
So
You son of a bitch! I'm in.
What is
There's a nuclear fries from fucking.
What did Stitch say?
You thought it was hilarious. And
Oh,
we were coming up with fucking different dishes and shit we could serve.
I knew it was Stitch involved.
Yeah, you Stitch and Pat.
Racial issues. You said racial slurs, and I'm like, so what is Stitch?
Yeah, when it comes to racial slurs, there's two people that come to mind, and only one of them, I believe, is not racist.
Mm-hmm.
No, we were talking about it the other day, and we were in the take-ups, and Stitch turns to me, and he's like, I got a serious question, though, man. Do I really seem that racist?
He listened to the episode, and he's like,
I was like, no, it's just the pointy hat you wear that makes everybody think you're racist.
he's like, can you stop marching on the line? Like,
It's those stark white.
It's the goose stepping you do.
especially alongside Travis, like, like he's starting to,
It's the fact that you wear stark white pajamas and Doc Martens to bed.
like, as soon as you guys get a German guy on your line, it's gonna be Axis of Evil over there.
Yeah. Well,
Actually, never mind. Italian.
I'm part German. Stitch is part German.
Travis. What part of Travis? Travis actually carries the whole.
Yeah, Travis is just like straight racist.
He's just pure. He's a nationalist. He is why the laws were created in Germany about Nazis. Actually, speaking of Nazis.
The only guy I've ever met that likes wieners more than tea.
He reads the Nuremberg files for fun.
He has Mein Kampf on fucking as his night sleep like, before bed
Sleep
reading.
sounds.
Before bed reading.
Ambient noise.
Shit, I fucking lost the track of thought. I was over there. Italy,
So what is it? What is
Italy.
it like? What is the
That's
so like American food? I would say like for me, like thinking of like a typical American dinner would be like pot roast and potatoes, something like
That's
that.
definitely not for me. For me, it would be.
No, I'm saying what is like a Ukrainian? What would be like
Ukrainian.
A Ukrainian?
It would be borscht. Actually, the course there's a dish called. Fuck, I forget what it's called. It's horrible. I'm gonna be honest. It's extremely popular in Ukraine. It's like a jello and fish. I cannot explain it. It looks horrible. It jiggles when you
Gefilte
cut
fish.
It's called holodit.
It's more like holy shit. What does this mean?
It's holodit. It's kind of like
You're really selling me on this Ukrainian.
You are really not. It's one dish that I will fucking throw up before I even drink, but like not drink, eat. It's very horrible. Let's see if I can find a picture of it to just demonstrate what I fucking mean.
So borscht is like
Borscht is
stew. It's like a
it's
stew
a
with beets
tomato
in it.
soup with meat in it and shit ton, not just fucking a little flavor meat. It's shit ton of meat. It's full. It's delicious.
I'd fuck with that.
I would too. I make mad jokes at Yeg about borscht all the time.
I've never had it.
But I looked it up and I was like, damn, dude, this would definitely change grilled cheese night.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I would actually have the soup instead of
I'm
just.
gonna be honest. I'm about to
Four
show you.
grilled
I'm
cheese
about to show you a
sandwiches.
picture of holodets, and you might fuckers think it's delicious.
That's like Jello.
It's okay. Good questions. I love it. It's gonna be good. So you see this? It's in Jello, pretty much.
So it looks like a chicken noodle stew. but-
yeah.
Chicken
In
noodle
Jello.
soup, but it's
Let me see.
gelatin.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm seeing. Yeah, it looks like
Yeah.
chicken noodle soup.
What's
with
your
gelatinous-
first impression? Does it look good? It's a good picture. I'm gonna.
Honestly, it does look good.
Yeah,
Well,
I
it's
promise
like
you,
that
it's
roll, yeah.
fucking not. It's really fucking not. It's a. I try to find a worse picture to be on more of my side. Like that's some.
Yeah, but
that's some fancy shit right there.
Okay, so this one's like an overturned bowl of gelatin
Yeah, no.
with meat in it.
It's like you know when you have turkey, and you like leftover turkey,
Yeah.
and that gelatin kind of hardens up when it's in the fridge.
Mhm.
That's what that looks like.
It's absolutely horrible, but people love it.
Have you thought about heating it up? Maybe turn that gelatin back into a broth.
Anyway, I never thought about doing anything with it because I do not want to fucking touch it.
So, with all that said, honest question: do you prefer the Ukrainian food or American food?
Ukrainian,
Gun to your head, Ukrainian food.
Ukrainian, straight up, like it's not even a competition.
What's the like fast food market like there?
A McDonald's.
Obviously, you have a McDonald's.
McDonald's over there is anything this place has fucking to provide. Just McDonald's alone. McDonald's is amazing in Europe. Just good rule of thumb. If you're ever traveling and you see McDonald's and you're like, I am hungry, but it's McDonald's. I don't want to do shitty food in Europe. Do fucking McDonald's. It's so much fucking better. Just even bread alone is completely different from what it's. The buns are just different. Everything in Europe, there are laws like established to make sure that people are eating good food or the food that is not going to be bad for you. In U.S., they don't have that. They do anything they can to cheap to sell it for high, buy it for low. To make profit. And that's the big difference between the food in U.S. and in Europe. Is there good places here that still use the same tactics but provide you with a good food? Yes, absolutely.
One of the best restaurants I've ever been to was this place in Montana, and there's nothing around it. There's fucking... I guess at one point it was like a little... kind of a town that was growing, and there's like a general store, and then like there was a schoolhouse, and then like maybe 10 homes around that little area. And, like most of the people died in that area. The schoolhouse was kind of abandoned, but these people bought the whole little area, and they have like it's like a gift shop in the old general store, and then a restaurant in the schoolhouse. It's like a restaurant, and it's just along the side of the road in Montana. And it was built in like the late 1800s. This old schoolhouse, and it still has like chalkboards and the fucking wood floors, and everything's still the same.
Is it named Chernobyl?
But the lady, like, they have a farm, so everything that is on the menu they get from their farm, and she makes from scratch. Like all the bread, like all the buns,
awesome.
fucking the pigs, the bacon she gets is from her pigs, like the beef is from their cattle, and their food is fucking amazing.
And it's probably still cheap too.
it was like relative to like, wasn't like super expensive or anything like that, but like biscuits and gravy, just home from scratch biscuits, fucking sausage gravy, and they made. My brother got like, it was like kielbasa, some Swedish dish, but she made all from scratch, like fucking amazing. If you're ever going through that town, I can't remember what it is. It's like right outside of Kalispell, or just before you get to Kalispell. Missoula.
Missoula, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so other countries that have like a lot of the wheat in fucking United States is all genetically modified in a way, and used chemicals that are used on it so that they don't have to worry about bugs like pesticides and shit that are used on the wheat, make your guts not work for you, and you can't fucking digest the wheat, and that's one of the problems that America has. But yeah, I've seen videos of like McDonald's and shit in Japan. I'm like, holy fuck, man, those sandwiches look good. Why don't we have that shit?
Or like in Germany, how you can get a beer with your McDonald's, which is bananas to me.
Well, even drinking laws in Europe completely different, and here it feels extremely strict. It feels like in Europe they trust you to make good decisions, but in US they want to outlaw everything, like to put behind the age laws straight up. Like, 'cause last time I was in London, my the guy who was making my drinks was 17, 18 years old, just a kid making drinks. That's his job. And then he's like, because I did not know at the time, I was like, do you want to drink? Because I was there to stay for a couple hours after their closing. And he's like, I would, but I have shit to do in the morning, so I'm not gonna do it. But like, we just, for a 17, 18-year-old kid, just grow. Just like at any point that he can drink. That is not like, how to say, like, look down upon, like,
it's not taboo.
Yeah, it's not really taboo at all. Yeah, which shows like they have self-control, do whatever they want. Like, you're with a family drinking somebody's birthday or whatever, they'll bring you a beer to drink just to celebrate it. It's not that big of a deal. But in here, it just feels like what's the word? Nazis. Nazis about it. Like, Jews? Somebody said Jews?
I think in defense of America, because our population is so much higher, and in any amount of population, there is a certain percentage of that is idiots. So when you multiply that population, you multiply the amount of idiots. So there's a part of it I agree with, to where you try to put laws and regulations into place to try to curb some of those issues from the idiot part of the population, but it just affects everybody.
But it also doesn't make sense to go to military at 18 but not be able to drink.
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
That is just,
they still do it, but
it just makes absolutely zero sense. You can literally just go do your basic training and go to war next day and fucking die and not even experience a pleasure of a beer, which is a shame on its own.
I don't know. Most of the people that go, I won't say most, but a lot of people that go into the military almost as like a fallback.
As a last choice, just because it's a safe choice. Also, it's
there's a lot of people that go into it because they have that pride and honor and want to serve the country. But then there are people that
want to use the system to their benefit, which
provides,
because they provide a lot of benefits like school.
But I'm saying that most of those people in that situation have probably had alcohol before.
Well, and I think a lot of people who join the military too are also just kind of in some way aimless in their own life, and they go, okay, this is an easy way to get a
back
job,
on
I
track.
get paid,
Yeah.
everything's
structure.
taken care of. Yeah, structure. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. It's
It-
whatever
it's good.
reason you do to, whatever reason you need to justify going to the military, use it. I don't care.
It's it's kind of like shit did not work out for me early in life. Like you got out of high school, spent a couple of years, shit is not going good. This is a very good safe choice for you to go and like maybe you have some kind of problem that you need like structure.
Mm-hmm.
You need a system built in you, and that's very, very good. And I've seen it with a lot of my friends who went to military. They changed. Like one of my buddies started eating food that he would never eat before, just because like at the time that was the only thing I fucking could eat.
Well, you look at case in point, Preston versus his twin brother. Like Preston went to the military,
Preston
he came
was the
out.
only child.
No, he has another cool brother. Come on now. No, but
Preston's the only.
he's very mature for his age, and he's very like thought forward kind of person, and has a strong mindset and self discipline and things like that. And then his twin brother is like the opposite in a way. And I'm not talking shit on the guy. I don't really know him that well, but you can definitely see a huge difference between those
Oh,
two,
yeah.
with one of them having gone to the military and the other one didn't.
I spent some
especially if
time
you-
with him, and there was a totally difference between like the mindset of like he had more of a teenager mindset, like
Yeah.
just the way that he would talk and act, and like things that he would say and describe shit. And then talking to Preston has a way better grasp of like what I view as a worldview, like
Yeah.
a
His reality is
realization of
reality.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, like I said on a couple different podcasts where I was really thinking about joining the military and all the benefits that come from that, but it was like, could I really kill somebody or like fight somebody because somebody else is telling me that they think differently, or
Yeah.
if they're trying to kill me, or if I'm helping them from killing other people, then maybe I could fight to defend other people. But like, are you getting the truth in that situation or what?
Yeah.
And so,
Is this a proxy war, a false flag thing?
right.
Who's making money off of it? I get that.
Definitely not you. Definitely, if you're in the military
Oh, yeah.
and you ever question who's making money out of that, it's definitely not you.
No, but yeah, but that at that point, you know that there are people making money off of this, and so what are you killing these people for?
But that's kind of the way the world's been working for a very long time now.
Yeah.
It's not just America problem.
But do you choose to be a part of that, or
Because like right now there's a war of Russia and Ukraine, and there's Belarus who provided Russia with a way to invade Ukraine, and like people in Belarus are completely different because they went up to their soldiers and said, while you're on this side of the land, you are our protector, you're our hero. A moment you go on the other side, you're an enemy, you're an invader, and like therefore when you try to come back, you're going to be an enemy. And that
Interesting.
yeah, that's how they scared their military into not going into the conflict, even though some of them still choose to go, but it's their choice. But like that's how they established it. Like, here you're protecting our home from anybody who comes to attack us. You go to other people's lands, you're an invader, you're an enemy.
yeah,
Makes sense. I mean,
It's solid logic. It's just
one man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter.
right. And so it's like the people. So take like Russia for example, like the soldiers in the Russian war. It seems like a lot of them, like, I mean, the videos that we get in America are like the soldiers don't really want to fight, and they're just in the military, and they're being told to do certain shit, so they do it. And so they're invading Ukraine, and so the Ukrainians are fighting because they're defending their home, but then the Russians have this mindset of like they're taking something back that should be theirs or whatever, and it's like it just seems so fucking.
In Russia, they have a system right now, like they're offering a lot of money. They get you with money. People are poor, people are struggling, which a lot of us even here right now can understand, because in like the last decade it just keeps getting worse. It's still better. It's still better than in a lot of other places, but just because it's just a bit better, it does not make it good, you know.
Yeah.
It just keeps getting worse slowly. Like we all see the prices here rise just with every week. It's a penny, but guess what? Fucking after 6-7 weeks, it's a couple of more pennies, and then 1 year passes, and now it's just a little bit more, and it's the kind of increase that feels controlled, not like not inflation increase more like because people are getting hungry for more money, and that's it.
Yeah.
I definitely think that inflation is real, and it was super obvious to see that it was going to happen during COVID when they're just handing out fucking checks to everybody, for whatever, every 6 months handing out this huge fucking check, and they're not gaining money in any way, they're just printing more of it. So it's just like
they're devaluing the dollar.
So they're devaluing the dollar, so now that prices are going to rise because the dollar's worth less.
Printing money is bad, but giving money back to community is good, because especially during the crisis, because that's just puts money more in the economy.
Yeah, if you're keeping a balance, like you're
not supposed to be printing more, because that's what's bad.
The problem to me is giving money to other people. Like if the government's signing these $2 and $3 trillion deals to give these essentially stimulus packages to people, why is that money going to other places? Like if you look at one of those bills, they gave like $150,000 to a gender studies program in Yemen. Why? That's our money, motherfucker.
Okay,
I want it back.
Okay. Those are just bad. A lot of, and I'm gonna point it out. This is not a political podcast, but we're gonna scratch a little bit. Those are most likely are Democrats. It's called woke fucking laws, and they're very bad.
Do you mean woke?
Woke.
Oh,
you said vogue.
Anyway,
that was the Russian coming out.
Second language.
So I was like, woke. Is it good enough?
That was better.
I'll practice. But yeah, it's a lot of times it's Democrats laws, and they make zero. They are, in my experience, in terms of like helping people, Democrats actually doing a very good job. But then they create some of the fucking dumbest laws to make to fucking Jesus Christ, just burn the money. That would be much fucking faster way to just it would be just saves everybody a vote. Just make a campfire and just start throwing money in there, because that's what you fucking essentially do.
Pretty much.
It would be people would feel much better about that than some of the money they're trying to spend on useless shit. It's like
So let's round back around to Ukraine. Do you feel like the politics from Ukraine are similar, better, or worse than what we have here?
It's that's a difficult question to answer, just because in terms of corruption, it's kind of bad over there. But in here, corruption's happening in front of everybody, so everybody can see it, but nobody does anything about it. In there, they're at least hiding it, and then people find out about it a couple of years later. In here, they're just what's the term here? What's the fucking term for when you donate money to politicians and stuff? Like
bribes?
No. It's not bribes.
Lobbying.
Yes, that's exactly what I was looking for.
Which is just legal bribery.
It's just illegal bribery. Yeah. So that's the massive difference. And here, it's all happening in front of our eyes, and we just looked at it, and both sides fight each other, and then like both sides are wrong. And
Well, yeah, both sides are fighting over the same thing because the corporations buy both sides. So it's like,
they're actually the real villain of
they're
this
funding
entire story.
both candidates, and so whoever wins, they're still in control. Like, doesn't
Yeah.
fucking matter.
But yet, people in America have a very hard time to distinguishing between those two. They view red versus blue as both, whoever which side you're on, they're enemies, and they just kind of provoking the fight, even though both sides getting fucked by even their own parties,
Yeah.
just nonstop, which is kind of hard to see. Like, I've never been in politics much. I never cared. I used to be under the belief that you work, you have a job, you work, you make money, you're gonna be okay. People who work,
Not anymore.
but not anymore. It's starting to become a lot more like Ukraine, where my mom had to work for 3 fucking jobs just to provide for all of us, and it just kind of starting to not starting actually already midway into the same situation.
Mm-hmm.
Where in here, like, a lot of people have to have second incomes, have a full-time job and a hustle on the side. And if that's the people who want to succeed and go further. Like, they have families, they want to provide more, they go to full-time job. You're right.
Yeah, I was trying to pop my elbow and I hit the table.
I'm like, God damn, Dave really fucking feeling this fucking frustration.
Speak, brother!
Like, they have to do like DoorDash or Lyft, Uber, just on for a couple of more on their free time, just whatever time they can find. And it's kind of sucks because American dream is like, you work and then you have fun. Like, in here, even look at our vacations in here. In Europe, you have about 3 fucking months of vacations. Like, they want people to experience life. They want to happier people bring better results. That's the mindset in Europe. In here, it's just kind of feeling like work, nonstop work, just work. Women get pregnant, they have a kid. In Europe, you get paid leave from work. That's standard. Like, you get very long time. In here, what's the time you get a leave from?
6 weeks. Something like
If
that.
you're
the mother.
fucking
The mother, yeah.
lucky.
For the father, you're lucky if you get 2.
But yeah, it's really bad. In Europe, it's year up to 3 years, actually, some of the countries.
Jeez.
So, like, they want to make sure that the kid grows up, everything's taken care of, because they're investing in the future. Like, schools also, same thing. Investing in the future is always a good bet. And that's what I wish United States would do. Just make schools or tuitions for anybody who wants to learn. If you have a kid who wants to go as far as he can possibly go, U.S. government absolutely has to pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
Just because that's a kid who wants to learn, who wants to go, there's nothing's gonna go wrong with that. Like, you're gonna have somebody smart or somebody in the job at a high position who is, there's no downside out there. Like, yeah, you're gonna find some kids that wanted to go far, but like their brain capacity, let's say, like they just don't get it, and it's fine. The fact that, like, in the percentage, why even 10% succeeding is good.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, I think that the American dream, for the most part, has been bought and sold. Like, it's still available out there, but you have to look outside the box for it. I mean, there are people that are super successful, but there's people that go to school and become a doctor, and they're looked at as super successful, but on the back end they have like
Debt.
hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt, going to school for 10 years to become a doctor, and then they're really not making the type of money that they should be making for 20, 30 years until they have that paid off, that debt paid off. But then there's other people that get a job, like my brother-in-law, got a job doing HVAC out of high school, like turned that into a business, doing fucking really well for himself.
Yeah.
Harder work, physical labor, but he's built his own dream. Like,
Yeah.
people don't see that. I mean, a lot of people these days, like younger generation, don't want to do hard work, like physical work. They're above that for some reason.
Well,
it's like, dude, you can make some fucking money if you think outside the box and go for it.
Yeah, I think it's less about going traditional ways to make really good money anymore, as opposed to just finding something that's a little more niche, or like you said, outside the box, just off the beaten path. Because you have to adapt. You can't just... The system no longer applies to where, like, the patriarch of the family goes to work full time and he can support the whole family just on his single income. That's just impossible now. But that doesn't mean you can't live a financially comfortably life anymore. You just have to try something else. Like these people who have these big personalities, and they make millions of dollars on YouTube or doing podcasts or whatever. Or like you said, you start in this one specific job and you branch off and create your own thing, and you're undercutting other people on prices, and you're working harder, and now you have an established business where you can justify charging more money for your work because it stands for itself. You can't just go work for somebody else and really achieve the American dream anymore.
Yeah.
Unless you have multiple incomes.
In a way, it's dead.
In a way,
the traditional, I mean, I think the new dream is just to be able to find that niche market and then create your own market. Like, with the internet, it seems like it's a super more attainable thing to do, but it's like finding that that thing that's outside of the popular, but that people are going to like. And it's like the t-shirts. Like Kara makes t-shirts. Everybody wants to buy t-shirts, but it's like, how do you make something that everybody's going to like, and you can make it in mass and sell it in mass? But you think it sounds easy to do, but like people are so specific, so it's like a balance between like spending and earning.
Yeah, or even within her business, just getting big contracts or big jobs.
Right.
That you're going to turn a profit. You just got to put the labor into it. You know.
And most of the ones that she does that she turns profits on are like small businesses and like, people's plumbing or HVAC companies, or like cleaning services that they're buying stuff for their business and their crews, and like, or like she made a bunch of tumblers for her work for all the different stores, around Christmas time, and so that's a big job. But they were all super personalized things, and so you can't just like pump out 1,000 of these things and sell them all to these people because they want them customized or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the way that's always worked, is because there's always a fluctuation in how finding that niche has changed. I mean, before the Industrial Revolution, it was most of the country was farmers, and you turned a profit because you turned out more bushels. You made more crops. So you made more money, you bought more land, you were able to make more crops.
Yeah.
And then when the Industrial Revolution came along, where it was like a lot of factory jobs and mining and stuff like that, where it was you would get experience under your belt making shit for this one manufacturing place until you got enough credentials that you could go to another place that made more money. And then even, like you say, with the invention of the internet, how that's changed everything, where it's like you can't capitalize on, let's say making gaming videos or Twitch streams or whatever. So you find a different niche within that same realm because this one's exhausted. That's just kind of how it's always worked.
Yeah.
The problem is It's the politicians taking bribes and making laws and
lobbying.
and not actually putting forth the effort to take care of American people to say, we need flat tax, or we need to cut spending, and we need to put more money into Social Security and things like that. It's just the greed has taken over the American dream.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why, Dave Brown 2024, when that happens, I'm going to fix that.
Just write it in.
I got a plan.
Got a plan. No brides. Just start crucifying. But that's also not going to work, just because how big the corporations and how they just invest in multiple people. Even if you're not with them, they kind of make sure that you do not succeed.
That's okay. I'll make sure they don't succeed. As commander-in-chief, you get the power to veto all bills. And if you say no to every one of them...
But it also takes a while to do that. And that's... One day, I hope there's going to be somebody who gets elected who's straight up is going to be like, I'm not here to fucking make them happy. I'm here to make the 90% of people who live here happy. Which hasn't happened in a very, very, very long time in this country. It's just been slowly just getting worse, and then it got to this, to this point, which is really bad. And normally, those politicians who actually say the correct things and who say they want to help us, the majority, I can say easily, they usually get, shown as a socialist. Some might say even communist. That's how the media views them. Because for some unknown reasons, socialism and a communist is the same thing in this country. At least it gets viewed as the same thing, or gets portrayed as the same thing. Which, with all these countries communist views, they see anything communist is bad automatically. Which socialism is not. The same thing as communism.
Pretty much.
It's not. It's like socialism is more of a helping people, holding people.
It's supposed to be more of a group thing, the consensus.
It's not supposed to be like you're getting shit for free for no fucking reason.
Hey, you put in work and you get
you get what you work with. It's a system.
In theory, I think that socialism should work, but there's those. It's just fucking people are fucking lazy, and it's they don't want to put in the work, but they want to get the rewards. And it's and that's why our welfare program is fucked.
That's where how to say it correctly without getting canceled. There's always going to be people who will try to abuse the systems. It's not going to stop. It will never stop.
So let me ask you this. So we have our president and is elected for 4 years at a time. Zelensky is the president, right, of Ukraine.
Yes.
And what are the terms like there?
Officially 4 years too, but right now, since there's a war state, there's just no way to get an election. So, right now, there's the regions that are occupied by Russian forces. How are you supposed to do the elections?
Right.
Do you gather up people so Russians can strike? And they've been striking at the people with populated areas. So, there is no way to secure the total
polling stations, or
even in the occupied territories. Who votes?
Yeah.
When they control 13% of the state, even though they can do a poll right now, and his poll, he would still probably win at least one more time. And I don't think he can run the third time, I should say. But I'm pretty sure he would win in terms of popularity. But it definitely dropped a lot.
Do they have term limits?
Yeah.
So how many limits?
I think 2 for president, because I don't. In my lifetime, I know only nobody got to the third limit.
I think they need to set term limits for Senate and Congress here in America,
and in every single fucking branch
Yeah.
too, like
Oh, yeah.
like Supreme Court, everywhere. Nobody should be fucking 90 years old running, deciding the fates of people who
Well, you
are.
just can't be like in your position for 50 years and have these like relationships with corporations that fund your campaigns every year, and so you fucking are making millions of dollars, but I mean, what are they supposed to get paid like $150,000 a year or something?
Something like that.
I think that they should have term limits. You can only serve like a certain amount of terms, and then like after each term that you serve, you get paid your base salary. At the end of that term, there's a consensus taken of how good of a job that you did, and you get a certain percentage
like
of the
that.
rest. So like if you everybody fucking hates you, you're not getting shit. If you
Honestly,
did a
you
good job,
owe money and fucking start paying.
you're gonna be a civil servant.
And
be a
I
fucking
promise,
civil servant.
and
Yeah.
I promise you, you're gonna start fucking doing your job seriously because you're like, I'm not paying shit.
See, and it just
I'll
occurred
be
to
in
me.
your
Solved it.
No, it's going to be Brown Johnson 24, and then we're going to do that.
Vice
for
President, fucking
Brown Johnson.
Brown Johnson. I'd love it. Yeah, no, we're going to do that for 2 terms where I'm president, you're VP, and then when that 8 years is up, you're going to be
Switch
president
it
and I'll
up.
be VP.
Yeah.
Well, now that looks
16
like
years
Now
of
that
prosperity.
sounds like a
8 years from
dictatorship.
now, I'll be president. So yeah, I'll be 35 by then.
So, if you had to do it over again, like let's say you had the ultimate choice to emigrate or not, would you?
Yeah. I would definitely still come to U.S., but in the last 2 years, honestly, like my family knows me the best. They know how much I love it here, how much I defend everything, how much anybody asks me a question like, would you go back and live in Ukraine even if you have, because I have a place over there, like, would I retire there? And the question is, fuck no. But also, it got to the point over here in United States where I'm like, this is also not a place where I would ever want to retire. So I would be looking at the retiring in a different country, definitely, 100%. But yes, I would definitely still immigrate here with everything, even I know now, to this day, in this moment in life.
You know, there's a lot of reasons why I think you're more American than most Americans that I know. Because you indulge a lot in a lot of the things Americans really enjoy. You like to go out to eat, go out to drink, go to the movies, enjoy things in life that Americans are really supposed to enjoy, but we're all kind of so like, not all of us, but a lot of Americans are so downtrodden. It's like, go to work, go home. Go to work, go home.
But it's also because that's how much they're making right now. Like,
Not always.
like the 80% of the the normal people are like just living paycheck to paycheck. Like,
Well,
that's-
yeah, I mean, that's...
it sucks because like you might want to go to vacation. You have to plan your vacation in so much in advance and start saving money for it so early. Like right now, I am lucky. I do not have family. I am just have to take care of one idiot, and that's me. which
I was like, that's rude, man. You calling your dog an idiot? Wow.
No, I will never have to worry about my dog. I have my family. They buy her stuff all the time. Like, she's fine. She's gonna be okay. Like, the bird is gonna be okay. The bird that I got from work too. It was a gift. It was like thank you for working here. He's great.
Well, there are people though that like
I call him a
are
little guy.
part of the downtrodden people that like more like woe is me though. It's like
Yeah.
I don't have money to do that. Well, find a better job. Like work where we work. You make pretty decent money.
Yeah.
You make pretty decent money, and you'll have more money to do that. What's the schedule like? Tell them, oh yeah, I don't want to do that.
But that's
It's
that's the price you pay. Like,
Yeah.
For me, I like traveling. Our job provides us. We work for 3 weeks. We have a 3-week schedule, and then for 1 week we get off.
pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
You have 14 days off out of 28 days.
You work 14 out of 28, yes. But like I count it as a 3-week schedule because even though we have days off, those are more days off to get your other shit in order, you know.
Yeah.
Just small chores like today, we have 1 day off. Like we all spending our 1 day off hanging out with each other. That's how much we like each other. Fuck you, Scott.
I'm glad you went for it. I was going to.
But yeah, we choose our days correctly, and then the long change happens. Like that's where our 7 days off come in, and those are vacation. Those are
So literally, we have 12 weeks off a year.
Yeah.
No, it is really good, and I really love it. And like by far, this is the best job that I've had, and luckily. God, this job would be so horrible if I hated everybody I worked with. Like I would fucking.
Luckily, everybody's a big enough asshole and it's bearable.
It's one of those miracles that happens, and not a lot of people get those. Like imagine working with the people that you actually enjoy spending time with. Completely different fucking job.
When I first started working there, I was in a building that like nobody really talked to each other, and nobody like. You go to break and like everybody's either like taking a little snoozer or like fucking on their phone, and it was like you're alone all day long, and it's like fuck, man. So the first like 2-3 months I fucking hated it.
Same.
Hated it.
That's how I felt.
Then we all moved over there to 11 and 12, and then it was like, oh okay, yeah, this is cool.
This clicks.
Yeah. So it definitely has a lot to do with like the people that you're around, and it can be super fucking fun sometimes, and it can suck fucking ass sometimes.
Well, I think about it, even in kind of the European sense of things, of like people who just go to work and then they go home and veg out until it's time to go to bed. Then you go to bed and you get up and you go to work and you start the whole cycle over. It's kind of like, what quality of life are you living? And that's one thing that I think Europeans have much better is when they walk to places or when they have a day off, they don't just spend it at home. Go out, even if you can't afford to go to the movies, which is stupid expensive, or you can't afford to go out to lunch 3 or 4 times a week, whatever. Like, there's still things that you can do that will improve the quality of your life. And I think that's where a lot of Europeans have it so much smarter, because they don't have the mass that we have in this country, where we have a lot of people who live here, and we have a lot of problems in the way of congestion and things like that, where over there they can literally just like, okay, I'm going to go outside and I'm going to go have my tea in the park today, or I'm going to go hang out at this place where everybody plays chess and it's totally free and things like that. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like...
Or just hop on the train and go to the neighboring country because that's an hour away. A fucking hour away.
Yeah, which is great.
Like, we sacrifice 2 hours to go to a fucking hiking trail over here.
I don't. Fuck that. There's plenty of them within...
Drive for 2 hours to fucking walk? No, man.
But
there's plenty of trails that are like 20 minutes away.
That's what I'm trying to say, is like they have options. Like, you live in Europe, you will have, for a weekend, you can go to a different country, just relax.
And that's the difference between those countries and a capitalist country, where over here almost everything costs money, where you have to pay to try to live and have fun.
It's a massive reward for you, like to go anywhere.
But that's the other part of it. It's a reward for you to work a little bit harder, to put in that overtime day, to be like, oh, this movie's coming out and I want to go see it, but I don't want to just go see the movie. I want to get popcorn. I want to get a drink. I want to do this. I want to do that. Or, we're having a get together or whatever on the weekend. I want to be able to. I want to spend a little extra money.
Occasional hooker, like just shit needs to be in the expenses.
All right, now we know where you stand on that. That was my next question.
Where do you get hookers in Salt Lake?
Asking for a friend.
Craigslist is not a thing anymore, is it?
Well, you can find it on other Craigslist.
I guess Reddit is a thing, huh?
Well, actually, that is correct. Reddit is a thing.
I was going to say for Yeg, it's Grindr, but... You tried so hard to mad dog me,
Yeah.
and you fucked it
I
up.
was like, Grinder it is.
It was a suspicious look of like, how did you know? But at the same time, trying to like hide it. It's pretty good.
Oh no.
Grind what?
They're making fun of
Grinder?
me.
Is that where you do coffee meetups?
I have a very good sense of humor. I can
So,
take a joke.
Moving here when you're 15 years old, did you have to do like the standard citizenship thing where you have to like?
So, before you can even take a test, so I got my green card. So, green card makes me a permanent resident. Except, like, there's a couple of restrictions. Nothing bad.
Can't be president.
I can't even be as like right now because I only have U.S. citizenship as my only thing. As long as I got it, I cannot be a president. Yes, correct. So like my kids could be presidents, but not me. In terms of green card, is pretty much exactly the same as U.S. citizenship, except better.
You're not naturalized.
Yeah. So now, like, I can vote. The green card does not allow you to become president or vote. That's it.
Can you be drafted?
If I try to get a job at certain places, but like not really.
No, drafted to the military.
Military, yeah.
Yeah.
So like before I became U.S. citizen, I actually like signed up for military. You automatically get drafted now from there on. And when I become naturalized, when I was applying for U.S. military, not U.S. military, U.S. citizenship, they had me sign a paper thing saying like I can be drafted. That's it. But I was already like, since I was doing my long time ago, I thought about joining the U.S. Army, but then I found a better job that pay was better, and that was my whole thing. Just pay was better, so I was like, I'm not gonna go suffer for like 2-3 years over there, and then after like 2-3 years, it would make it even for me to be there.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, yeah, I'll just take better pay for the next 2-3 years and see where my life leads me there. And that's the only reason I was not a U.S. Not a military. Money.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like overall. So yeah, the test. So after 5 years, you're allowed to take a test for U.S. citizenship. But for the green card, every 10 years, I think you have to you have to pay money and just get it just renewed, and it's $600-700 every single 10 years.
Jesus.
Which is a lot for me. It was like easier just to become just take $200, apply for a U.S. citizenship, take the test, pay $200-300, whatever it was paid. It was not that much, and then permanently just you're done.
Mm-hmm.
Which is that's what I did.
Yeah.
I didn't do it after 5 years. My mom did it. My mom did it as soon as she hit 5 years. She took the test, passed it, got her U.S. citizenship. Me and my sister waited like another 3-4 years to do it.
How hard is the test?
If you study, not that hard. And I studied. I spent like 2-3 weeks just studying. It's a lot of basic stuff, a lot of stuff that they teach you in school. Just
Give me some examples.
I'm going to be honest right now. Like a lot of dates. Like first of all, there
History and basic
yeah,
politics.
history.
And
Like
that.
a lot of dates. You have to remember a lot of dates. What time was the Independence Declaration of Independence was signed, and like just
July 4, 1776.
Good job.
I know, I was there.
You're old enough. But yeah, there was a lot of dates. I remember that the test overall was super easy because you study. You study about because they give you like a guide, like there's like 200-300 questions, but they only ask me about maybe maximum 5 questions. But it's out of all of them, so you still need to. But they were honestly not that hard. Studying was harder than actual tests.
You know what I find amazing about those tests is, I looked one up one time. This was years ago, and they go into detail about American history and things like that for the questions they ask. But lately I've been coming across these videos of this guy. He goes to like these college campuses, with just a camera and a microphone, and he asks these naturalized American citizens just basic questions, and they get none of them right.
Yeah.
How many states are in the union? I don't know, like 24. Like, you fucking serious?
I don't know. Anybody who took the test knows all those questions. Like, if you ask an American citizen here those questions, they will not get it right. Like, that's
It's sad.
It is sad.
But anybody who studied those questions, they'll know bare minimum a basic, and then there's each level of difficulty, and then a lot of dates. Like, dates were probably the hardest each years, which you kind of make a cheat sheet. You memorize them.
Sure.
It's
So who was the first American president?
right now George Washington. But
Who was the second American president?
I don't know. But I had to.
Spencer, who was the second American president?
I don't know. John
George
Adams?
Washington.
Oh.
He was 5.
He did 2 terms.
Well played.
Oh.
Well played.
Get fucked, nerds.
Yeah, he was also the first one independent one too.
Yeah.
Was it after him? They were like, okay, fucking, we gotta set term limits.
Well, he set the term limits, actually.
So who was after him?
Couldn't tell you.
But I
John
had to,
Quincy
I had
Adams?
to memorize
That's what I
all of
thought.
them because they would.
I gotta look it up now.
They would ask. Who was this? The number? Which president was each? Which was sound? But like they would always ask the key ones. The key ones. It was never like off fucking the president that you never even heard that he was a fucking president. You didn't even know that name. Because that shit also happened. I'm like, this was a president? Fuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, we were close. It's John Adams.
John Adams. The $10?
John Quincy Adams was number 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6-1. So, I'm just going to say we got it right.
So at one time I had the first 18 memorized. I can't tell you fucking any of them now. And then I had all the capitals of all 50 states memorized.
I remember 8th grade when you had to do that song to remember all the capitals. I couldn't do it now.
Yeah. Nope. Salt Lake, I think, is the capital of Utah, maybe?
Yeah.
Or is it just the biggest city? Beaver, either Beaver or Fillmore was supposed to be the capital.
Yeah, I think it was Fillmore. Supposed to be.
Mm.
Who was the 16th president? Yeg.
Right now, you can ask me who was 54th, and I fucking would not.
There is no 54th. We're not that far yet.
I knew he was in the 50s.
Who was the 16th?
Lincoln.
That when
You
Dude,
know-
I went down a whole fucking... Did I tell you about that? Going down this fucking rabbit hole of Lincoln.
Ah.
So, one of the twins had a test on Abraham Lincoln, and specifically the assassination of Abraham Lincoln. So I was trying to help her study, and then I just went down this fucking rabbit hole because the John Wilkes Booth fucking... Have you heard the theories behind him?
I've heard a lot, and the parallels between Lincoln and JFK.
Well, yeah, but so John Wilkes Booth was like, so he killed Lincoln, jumped off the balcony, ran away, got hurt, whatever. So supposedly, 2 days later, they found him hiding in this barn or something with another guy.
with another guy.
Yeah,
He was so progressive.
they were both on the run, and supposedly they locked both of them in there and burned down the barn. And that's where they say that he died.
So
So there are
I have one question.
conspiracy theories that say that he actually escaped because there was a guy who was in Arizona that 30 years later ended up getting some disease, so he went to the doctor's like, yeah, you're gonna die, you have 2 months to live. So he's thinking he's on his deathbed, says, I have a confession to make. My name is John Wilkes Booth, and I assassinated President Lincoln. And so it was this big revelation saying that this guy's John Wilkes Booth, he survived. He ends up beating this fucking disease doesn't die from it, and moves to like another town in like somewhere out here out west, and lives another like 10, 15 years. Finally dies, and then like they take him and do the autopsy, and
John Smith.
but nobody knows who he really is because he just like had all these aliases, and so they just were like he was kind of a John Doe, and so they kept his body, and his body kind of naturally turned into a mummy, and so like it was like a funeral home that had his body. The funeral home closed, didn't know what to do with the body, so they just left it there, and it turned into a like a furniture store, and they put the body up in the front as a display mannequin, and there's this mummy.
Jesus Christ.
And then somebody found out who this mummy was, bought it, and it was like a traveling circus, like sideshow. It was like the mummy of John Wilkes Booth.
So,
Dude, that story took so many turns.
Right?
I have just one question. Do you think they hated him because he killed Lincoln or because he was a homosexual?
That's 2 strikes, man.
Like, they're like, fuck, he killed the president and he was gay? Fuck him.
Hey, see that box right there? There's some pens in there. Hand me one. That just gave me a topic.
Yeah,
I think Lincoln is going on
it's a really wild story,
Yeah.
and I totally just like
I have pencils.
Just anything.
totally just went off the rails, and I was like, when you do your test, you need to ask your teacher what she thinks about this.
Everybody's like, looking.
Gave me a great idea for a topic. God, there's fucking bananas.
Yeah.
Now I know what I'm doing tonight. Going down the rabbit hole.
Gay porn.
Are you projecting?
John Wilkes Booth themed gay porn.
Now you know what Yeg's doing tonight.
I'm just jacking it.
He's gonna text me. What was the name of that guy again? John Holmes. His name is John Holmes.
Oh. Okay. Cool.
All right. So one final question on this one. Out of the 2 countries you've lived in, and the math almost works out to be half and half of your life.
It's
Almost.
actually now U.S. beat. At 30 it was like half. But yeah, continue.
That was my question. Thanks for the answer.
What was? I'm sorry, I was.
Which country does he prefer?
Oh, it was a very easy answer. It was the United States. Very easy answer. Like 10 out of 10 would be like, yeah, it was a straight answer. Before, even like 2 years ago, you would have been like U.S. If I could come earlier, I would.
If I could have been born here, that would have been the best.
That would have been so tight.
It would be. It would be definitely a lot better because but also coming here and starting from like with nothing, just it's hard. It's hard starting with absolutely nothing, but like you slowly just get through it. Which in Ukraine, there's no way I don't think I could come to Ukraine with nothing and start. Even if you're hardworking, it would have taken me a lot longer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I said, my mom was an immigrant, and so she moved here, and her parents had fucking 18 kids and adopted another one. So they moved here. I mean, some of their kids had already
Trying to do
married and
invasion.
moved out. So I don't know how many kids they had when they moved here. But they were super poor, just starting out. Super poor. I think this was probably had to be in the 60s. And so they were so poor, they were like saying, super religious, and they're like praying for like help and, blessings. And one of the days they woke up and their tree, they got toilet papered. And so they like all saw it as a blessing. Now they have toilet paper. Like, wow, That's fucking poor, man.
Somebody's trying to egg their house. They're out there trying to catch him.
He's hitting the frying pan. He's catching it on a frying pan. Yeah. So, yeah.
I think it's, even as shitty as it is in this country, I honestly still think it's probably one of the best places to be.
Yeah.
No, we don't have the freedom we think we have. The American dream is just struggling to get by, but
That fucker has been executed like a couple of years ago.
it's still better
It's been
than
taken into the back and just...
it's still better than living under a regime. It's
Right.
still better than living in
Again,
places with
you are
commonplace terrorism and having to scratch by a living, you know, which we kind of do anyway, but we at least have some kind of a support system. We have some kind of ways that we've been able to adapt and overcome and still manage to thrive in a lot of ways.
Yeah, and there are still places in America where you can homestead pretty much.
Yeah.
Like, you can do it. A lot of people don't like to because it's fucking hard work. Have you ever seen the movie or the TV show The Last Alaskans or Life Below Zero?
Yeah.
Like, people like that, especially in Alaska, that are just living frontier lives in our
That's a life
modern
of
time.
labor.
Yeah.
It's, and I know I'm not strong enough to do that. Like, if I had to, sure. But I'm kind of like, what if I just want to sleep in one morning instead of go have to wrangle breakfast or go
Yeah.
check traps so you have
so
something
hungry.
to
I
eat?
better hike 10 miles to try to find a fucking squirrel.
That sounds awful.
But there are people that choose to do it, and
I'm totally cool with waking up and being like, dude, I'm hungry. Uber Eats, Beto's breakfast burrito,
Squirrel.
eat it in bed, like,
I've never had squirrel. It must be good. But
or they're just plentiful.
squirrel burritos
It's a
for
fucking
breakfast.
chore in its own. Try to fucking catch one.
And
In our term of presidency, we guarantee squirrel burritos for breakfast for everyone.
And that's what that's what fucking got Dave.
well, the way he said it in that old timey
Propaganda shit.
yeah, that like 1940s radio message. President Huba has said. That was good.
If you like squirrel burritos, vote for Brown Johnson in this coming term.
2024. See you at the polls, friends. Yeah. No, this has been an interesting conversation. But
Yeah.
on a final note, I'm glad you emigrated.
Me too.
Me too.
Do they have Funyuns in Ukraine? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
America's
out.
better.
Yeah, way better. You don't even have fucking Funyuns? Stupid.
Boring-ins.
Anyway, thank you for having me. This was a great episode. I did not feel attacked at all.
Until right now.
Right.
Fuck borscht. I'm just kidding.
I
It's
Shut your whore mouth.
I've never had it, but it actually sounds really, really good.
It does, honestly. I know I talk a lot of shit, but
You took
Just like I
way
was
too
saying,
much shit for
dip
how
in your-
good the borscht is.
prove me wrong.
Yeah.
Have
Friday.
your mom
We
make
got a
some.
Friday.
They were actually really good. She makes a fucking banger borscht.
I see this as pieces coming together.
I heard borscht is actually a food that's like really good for drinking. Like, gets you ready for drinking.
You're in Europe, like everything gets you ready for drink.
You know,
You wake up.
you're supposed to pair borscht with like a fucking hearty vodka.
Oh, that is actually correct. That is correct. Yeah.
It's like a Bloody
Sorry.
Mary meal.
Hmm.
I like it.
I fuck with it pretty heavily.
Same.
Yep. I remember now. Now it makes a lot of sense why they were drinking vodka while eating borscht.
I always thought it was maybe because of
It's also
the drunker you get, the better it tastes.
no. Also the whole thing with that vodka and pickle, like you take a shot and you take a bite of a pickle.
Pickleback.
It's a very, very popular, very common in Ukraine,
Yeah.
or just honestly in Europe.
We do the same thing here. We just drink the pickle juice instead.
I'm gonna be honest. I've never seen anybody else
Do a pickleback?
do any kind of pickle. Honestly, be near pickle and alcohol.
No, dude, a pickleback. That's the only reason you can drink like the bottom of the shelf garbage alcohol, because the pickle just washes it right down.
Just makes it tolerated. Like in Ukraine, they do pickle. They do cheese. Cheese is also. What else? Some kielbasa. Cut small pieces. Yeah.
That's a Ukrainian charcuterie board.
Oh fuck yes!
Fire and sausage.
I like that.
I'm about it.
I like that.
All right. Okay, I love you. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.